Okay, data analysis. We are approaching to the end of the last section of this presentation. So, reminder, the goal of data analysis in an exploratory case study is to create a theory, create constructs, have definition for them, find a way to measure them, find relationship between those constructs, and have support for them. So this is a goal for data analysis in an exploratory case study. Reminder again, in a data analysis for an exploratory case study, you want to disconfirm, you want to reject the relationship suggested by the literature. You want to suggest new constructs. So you can see here, you want to have a table like that. Okay, this is the table of relationship. This is what we suggested in the theory. It was supported. Why? In 5 out of 6 cases, A and B had positive relationship. But we had one case that had some issues, and then you try to provide some examples. For the relationship between D and B, it was not supported. In 3 cases, a negative relationship is observed. In another 3, a positive relationship was observed. We believe G is a moderator of this relationship. When G is high, this relationship is going to be positive. If when G is low, the relationship is negative, for example. So you need to create something like this and add it to your chapter 5 of explanatory case study thesis. Okay, so these were the reminders. The first thing was develop case reports, the one that I mentioned before, that you would do after an interview, and then you return it to the interviewees so that they give you feedback. So create the case report. This is your first step of data analysis. The second step, which is perhaps the most important step, and you have to add it to your thesis as well, is this table or matrix of case constructs. You have all the cases, you have all the constructs here. You have found the scores for each constructs. Construct B is high, construct A is 3 in case 1, construct C is 0. In case 2, these are different values. So you suggest you create this table. You have done all these studies for this moment. You want something like this. So you create this thesis, this table, and then you have to do these cross-case analysis. What does that mean? So if it's an exploratory case study, you generalize them to these. So these are the case reports. But if it's an explanatory case study, you read these cases and you turn them into the previous table. In both cases, you need to have these tables, both exploratory case study and explanatory case study. Okay. And here you need to avoid the common mistakes of our students. You do not try to confirm the theory, you try to disconfirm the theory. You can only reject a theory here if A is high and B is low. If A is high and B is medium, you cannot reject it easily, unless you have some other cases. So keep that in mind. And you also need to figure out what is between A and B, those Fs that I mentioned. So you need to figure them out and suggest them in the data analysis section. Okay. Then for each relationship, for example, construct A positively influence construct B, and for each case, you will explain if this is supported or not supported. And you try to provide quotes in past tense, hopefully, for each case. So here you have one construct under this. So this is your section on data analysis. You have that table that I already mentioned with the scores and values at the beginning. Then you have subsection for each of these relationships. You try to provide quotes to either support it or do not support it. And at the end, you can say that we have enough reasons to believe that A positively influenced B, or we do not have enough, we have to reject this hypothesis. So this is the ending sentence for that for data analysis and that section. So what is wrong here? So this is a quote from an interviewee. In my opinion, the most important aspect is changing the culture. And, you know, this is a kind of exploratory case study. He tried to provide the gist, the essence of each sentence. Cultural change, conservatism, awareness, and training for each sentence. What's wrong here? So this is an interpretivist study. You see here, this person did not provide any values for each construct. He just tries to provide some initial codes here. What's wrong here? Again, we do not quote opinions. We want facts. Have interviewees use past tense and describe the unit of analysis. These are general things. It's as if this is a literature. It's not data about, you know, a unit of analysis in the world. That's another issue here. He has to say it was difficult to change the culture of our organization. See, it's about a unit of analysis and it's in past tense. And here, assume that this is the table that you have created in the data analysis section. Okay. Do you support what is the relationship between A and B in your opinion? What is the relationship between B and C and A and C in your opinion? So first of all, when I have A, when I have 3, it's high, so medium high. It doesn't help me that much perhaps. When I have 7, it's medium again. When I have 1, I have low. So I cannot guess any good relationships, you know, between the two. How about A and C? When 7, it's 0. When it's 1, it's 1. So I can say that apparently they have a kind of negative influence on one another, or it's a negative correlation between the two. And you can do the same for construct B and C. So most of the time it will be difficult. That's why I ask you to have extreme values for these constructs so that data analysis would be easier for you. Okay, I don't see any questions. So at the end, I want to give you some general guidelines. Follow a great published case study. As for explanatory case study, Rich and Bembasa 2000 is a great one. As for exploratory case study, Eisenhardt 1989 is a great one. So if you selected either of these two, go for the greatest published case study there. When you read, I read your thesis, I would like you to refer to Dubé and Paré and Yin. You know, there are many years, different textbooks. And if you have an exploratory case study, I would like to see Eisenhardt there as well. You show that you have a good understanding of the methodologies. Have a case study protocol. You know, I already mentioned this, what this is, you know, is quite easy, having interviews, selection criteria. These are called case study protocol. And use the checklist I have created. I'm going to upload a checklist there. If you cannot satisfy them, have good excuse for each criterion and just mention that as a limitation of your study. It doesn't mean that you have to fulfill all of them. Some of them cannot be fulfilled in 4 months or in a thesis that you are doing. Okay, with that, we get to the end of this this session on positivist case study. Thank for bearing with me and, you know, listening to my presentation on this. If you have any question, I would try to answer them. Okay, let me pause this here.